So hey everyone, this is Chinmay and Anurag back again, and
Hello.
today we are going to talk. Today we are going to shoot another episode of Codecast, and in this video we are going to talk about JWT token based authentication flow for your web application and desktop or mobile application. So basically, we will try to give you a deep dive knowledge about how JWT works under the hood, and we will try to talk about the like specifically the security concerns when you are using JWT token based auth, because there are like saying like JWT token, like if you don't handle it properly, then it can be risky, or it can harm your user data or the data if you don't like do it properly. But although it is like industry level authentication flow, and almost every not every but yeah, almost in your day-to-day life, whatever application we are using, most of them are using JWT based authentication flow, especially fintech services.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, so that's the topic. That's the outline, and then now I will hand over this to Anurag. So like, yeah, Anurag, what do you think? What
Yeah,
we're going
hey,
to do?
hello everyone. As Chinmay has said the background that we are going to talk about authentication using JWT. There are multiple ways existing in the industry to do this, but for the today's scope, JWT is the only topic we are going to discuss.
Yes.
So the Chinmay used the term authentication. So I think for the novice people, there is a lot of confusion goes around in between the difference between authorization and authentication.
Yeah.
So let's clear that first with a simple example. Then we can open up the screen and show the whole flow how the token travels. Okay, so authentication and authorization are two completely different terms, and
Definitely.
which are very closely related, but they are completely different. So let me give an example. I have a good example there in real life. Uh, Authentication means to prove what you are claiming to be. That you are saying you are Chinmay, I am saying my name is Anurag. How I can prove it? That is authentication. And how I normally prove it using my passport. So passport is authentication device or authentication document. Okay. Next terms come, can you drive? So that is kind of authorization. Can you drive or not? That will come from your another document that is driving license. So passport is your authentication document, and driving license is your authorization document that you are authorized to drive. After you have authenticated yourself that my name is Anurag and I am holding this driving license, so I can do a particular operation. Let's say driving or whatever it is. So that is the difference between authentication and authorization. In layman's or theoretical definition, I would say authentication is claiming or proving what is your name and what is your identity. And authorization means to prove that you are authorized, you have the responsibility to run this operation or to execute this operation. That's the difference, basic difference. So most of the times authorization comes after authentication. You prove yourself that my name is this, I am this identity, and I can do this operation. So first comes authentication, then comes the authorization.
या तो मेरे दिमाग में एक और एग्जांपल आया आफ्टर योर एग्जांपल दैट
Mhm.
मोर एक रियल वर्ल्ड एग्जांपल में इफ आई ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन इट एंड बेसिकली समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है कुछ एप्लीकेशंस पे यू आर हैविंग लाइक डैशबोर्ड और लाइक या डैशबोर्ड एंड अ नॉर्मल होम पेज. सो लाइक दो तरह की प्रोफाइल्स वी हैव, अ नॉर्मल
Mm.
यूजर और प्रीमियम यूजर और एडमिन यूजर में भी.
Admin user.
So तीनों के लिए like all three need to do the authentication with email password or whatever the flow is, but
Mm.
all three cannot or are not authorized to access the same resources. Admin can access all the resources, but normal user cannot access the admin sources. So normal user is not authorized to access the the resources admin can. And same with like premium. So like premium user like me like for say Netflix, like premium user with 20 USD per month maybe can watch in 4K. But for a less premium user who is paying 10 USD can watch in like 1080p only. but they all need to do the authentication with the email password.
The
But
segregation
they are
on
not
the segregation
authorized.
on the
Yeah.
services, the segregation on services or screens or operations is authorization.
Yeah. Like sometimes we say that like you're not authorized to do this. Like so, even like हम किसी होटल में enter भी किए हैं तो we
But you
have the
cannot, you cannot go into the control panel and change the camera configurations and air
yeah.
conditioning.
So we are authenticated to be in the hotel, but not authorized to enter the staff only areas.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
that's
how
a
it
big thing.
works in real life.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good example from computer science background. So let's move on the actual flow on the traffic, like how the JWT is created, what JWT is consisting of, and how it works.
Okay, then let's talk about like first उससे पहले एक image और एक outline draw करने के लिए I'm just trying to
Mm.
explain
Mhm.
flow diagram which I've created using Mermaid. So let's go to that first. So it's very simple authentication flow using JWT. अगर JWT पे किसी ने भी like have you ever worked on JWT, then it will be very easy for you to understand. And there are few, I mean there are few terms which are very important called authentication server. So let me zoom in and then I'll try to explain one by one. Authentication server is very important thing, and then you have a resource server. Resource server basically your API server from where you respond back with some data, or the like user expected response. So you as a user A, you start from here, like you login request, you put your credentials in, if and then it goes to the authentication server, and then authentication server verify it like it is wrong or correct. If it's correct, you go further for the next step. If it's wrong, then like you just repeat the process. It's simple. So the story starts from here, this JWT flow. So once you are able to verify your credentials, we generate a JWT JSON web token, and it contains two parts, access token and the refresh token. Most of the OAuth server or the OAuth authentication server generate both access token and refresh token, because if you don't want your user to keep logging in again and again by providing the email password, then refresh token is necessary. It's okay if you don't generate a refresh token, you can still make the flow work, but refresh token will help you to refresh your access token whenever it get expired, and your access token has to be expired for the security purposes, and we will explain it in this video like why. So you generate a token, you respond with JWT, usually in HTTP header or cookie. So you respond that to the client. Client store it, then your web app or whatever the app you are building, that app need to store it somewhere in some storage. In web application, it's like local storage most of the time, and in iOS app, like they're like keychain service or something. So there we stores. Then now whenever you want to access a protected route, protected route का मतलब ये होता है कि on every server we are having two types of APIs, public APIs and private APIs. Public APIs can be accessed by anyone, but private APIs cannot be accessed by anyone. You have to have some authentication and authorization to access the particular API, which is protected one. So protected resource request, like for say you say I just want to check my balance, account balance, so that request has to be a protected one. So but when you try to make that request from a web or the your mobile app, there is something called header. So in that header you have to put your token as a like key pair value. So like header name is authorization, which is standard, and then the value is bearer space token. So that's how you send that token in the header to access a protected resource. Yeah, and then that request goes to the resource server, and at the resource server, before we let user or grant user to access the protected resource, we just verify the token. And what do we need to verify here? We need to verify the signature, expiry, and the issuer, and like the subject of the token, and sometimes like JWT ID, which is very crucial. So we just check like very crucial things, which is like 3 or 4 checks: signature, expiry, issuer, and JTI. JTI is like JWT ID. And then if everything is okay, then we authorize access based on the JWT claims. So what are the claims? Claims basically allow a user different resources based on the user's permissions. Like for say, if your JWT token having claims like user can watch in 4K or paid for 4K, and same and then there's another user whose token having claims he can watch in HD. So your token contains claims, and then when we are when after the like on the top of verification of your JWT token, you just extract the claims, you check the claims, and based on the claims you grant a user to access the resources based on the permission. So basically claims are just like permissions. I mean, it can be permissions, not just permission, but can be permissions, because signature and all, they all are like claims.
Payload is basically payload is claim.
Yeah, basically below. So that's how we can access the protected resource server. Then we go back from here as a what to say, a respond to the user. So that's how it works. All you do, initiate a request, go to the authentication server, verify credential, generate token, get token, save token, make subsequent request with token, and then your resource server send that token to the verification service verifies the token and return a response, okay or not okay. If it's okay, then you check for the claims, and based on the claims you provide the access to the user for the requested ones. So sometimes if a user, like sometimes we say like you don't have permission to see this page, so that means your token does not contain the claims which are required to access that particular page. Basically simple, it's as simple as that. But it looks simple, but generating a token and managing it and playing around with it with all the security concerns and the edge cases are not so simple. So JWT is very secure only when you are doing it in a right way. Otherwise, it can like give you a lot of security loopholes. So what type of loopholes it can give you, and we'll talk about that in this video. So now I want Anurag to carry on. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks. So, very well explained by Chinmay. Let me conclude the few of the steps. You try to log in. Once your passwords and usernames are verified, token is generated. How token is generated, where it is saved, and what it actually looks like, we'll discuss about in some time. Token is generated, sent to you. In the subsequent request, like while moving to different pages, clicking on different tabs, you have to send the token back to the server. The server rechecks uh, the token and allows you to do some operations, or not, you are denied to do it. This is a simple flow. The next thing, how the token is generated and actually how it looks like. So I think there are three parts in JWT tokens. One is header, payload, and signature. So header is actually containing the information like what kind of token it is and what algorithm it is being used, like what algorithm was used to generate it. Okay, so that when it comes back to the server, the same algorithm can be used. Another thing, second is the payload. So payload means like basically claims only. So it contains the user specific information, who you are, what are your responsibilities, what are your permissions, what kind of user you are, premium or normal user. That kind of information comes under payload. It also contains the expiration time, generation time, who issued the JWT, and other kind of information, which can be used to increase the security of uh, our JWT. Third is signature. So signature is one of the most important part of JWT. It is hashed using some RSA algorithm, maybe symmetrical or asymmetrical. That depends on the use case. It is generated using private key, which is stored in the server. Okay, so it comes as a long random string. It appears as a long random strings to a normal eye, but it is actually a signature generated by the server. These all three things are sent to the user, and in the subsequent requests, when the user sends back this JWT, the server checks the signature if it is valid or not using its own private key, which was used to generate it. Okay, so the same key is used to encrypt and decrypt on the server end. So it's
Which we call secret
let's
key
say
maybe?
it's kind of huh?
Which we call secret key?
Secret key, which we call secret key. In other words, we can say it's an like secret key is nothing but an official stamp of an organization.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm sending you an document, and I put a stamp of my organization, and you send it back by doing some modifications there, writing your names or signature, doing anything, and I receive it back. So what I will do, I will check first, did I send this document? And how can I do that? By checking my stamp. That's the basically secret key. Okay, so this is the thing. I think these are the three part for the actual token.
Token, yeah. Like you
Um,
use two words, like sorry to interrupt, but maybe like
yes.
you used word asymmetric or symmetric algorithm. So
Mm.
for our audience, I can say like us like a very popular asymmetric algorithm to do such cryptography. We use RSA 256, or the symmetric algorithm
Mhm.
we use HS256, which is simpler but less secure.
Yes,
So
yes,
mostly we use RS256. Yeah.
got it. So a question might be popping in our audience mind, that what if I hijack the token and send it. Let's say you were communicating with your server, and I was sniffing your network, and I got that token. Next time, what I will do, I will send some request, unauthorized request, or malicious request to the server using that same token.
But technically
Is it?
authorized because you have token.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I'm technically I'm authorized because I have the token, and the server does not know that I have hijacked it from your pocket. So what is the standard way to protect it, Chinmay? Like that might be the question of genuine question
Yeah,
coming
it's
in mind.
it is a like type of interview question, like what is the general or the, I think not general but the only way to save your token over the transportation over the network, which is I think TLS in encryption, which we get by default when we use HTTPS.
Correct.
They're like
So
secure way to
HTTPS,
transport data. Yeah.
anyway, if you are using JWT, HTTPS is absolutely necessary, because you are sending the signature in the payload, in the token itself. If it is being hijacked by someone, they can claim that who they are, and they can perform the operations which you are authorized to perform, but they can do that if they have the token valid. So to prevent this kind of man in the middle attack, there are few ways. One is HTTPS, because there are because the whole transaction is encrypted. Even if they have the token,
They can't do
it's
anything.
not
Yeah.
necessary for it's not useful for them.
Yeah.
Another is to set our token in like very short expiration time, like 5 minutes or 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes,
Which
whatever
we
the
do
use.
actually, which we do.
So the calculation of expiration time will come from our claims,
Yeah,
as we
of
discussed,
course.
because
Yeah.
payload will contain
Expires
an
in. Yeah.
generated timestamp. So from there we can calculate if it is expired or not. We can revoke the uh, token as well using the payload.
बेसिकली
One
होता क्या है, अगर
another.
इसको थोड़ा
Yes,
सा
yes.
अगर तू इसको थोड़ा सा और ज़्यादा इजी करे एक्सप्लेन, ताकि लोग इसको बाद
Hmm.
में इम्प्लीमेंट कर
Hmm.
पाएँ. इशूड एट टाइम स्टैम्प टोकन में
Hmm.
लगा देते हैं, और फिर सर्वर पे
Hmm.
लॉजिक रहता है कि जस्ट
रहता.
विद द करंट टाइम कंपेयर द करंट टाइम एंड द इशू डेट टाइम, और फिर उसका जो एक ड्यूरेशन निकल के आएगा लाइक 1 मिनट 60 मिनट, उसको बेस्ड ऑन दैट इफ द जो ड्यूरेशन है वो
Hmm.
ग्रेटर देन द एक्सपायर्स इन, तो टोकन हैज एक्सपायर्ड, ऐसे होता है ना आई थिंक.
Mm-hmm. You might have observed in our ITR government website. Let's say you do not do anything on any activity, like you do not move from one page to another page for 5 minutes. After that, if you click on any element on the page, you will get your session is expired. So that is how
हाँ,
they are
नेट बैंकिंग में
calculating
देखा है मैंने,
real
आई
time.
थिंक देखा.
Any government website which is like related to finance or stock market or
या
anything income tax, they will have this mechanism
या द
in
एक्सपायर
place.
इट बाय डिफॉल्ट. ओके.
So another thing which might become in the curious mind, that is that, do we generate uh, multiple secret keys for each individual user? So the answer is surprisingly no.
Yeah, we can, but we don't.
Yeah, so answer is surprisingly no. The secret key is single for all the
Single for all
users.
the users.
Maybe it may be rotated. Let's say after 5 minutes, the secret key is changed by the server, but it is changed for all the users.
All the users.
But yeah, there are exceptions where a highly secured environment might be there where they can generate
Crypto
secret
exchange.
key per user.
Crypto
Huh.
exchange में.
Secret key per user. But it will create an overhead, because let's say you send the user your user ID, then I will go into the database and check your key, pick up your key, and then I will
It's a
check the
resource
signature.
consumption problem, na?
So that's an overhead. So in most of the normal use case, we do not generate multiple secret keys for each user, but for sophisticated use only.
Yeah, rather than generate having an individual secret key for all the users in crypto exchange, if I'm correct, then what we do, we just basically need like two or three or like four approval in terms of four signatures from the like to access a single resource. Maybe like you have like $1 million stored in crypto exchange. So basically, and you set like 3 4 signature required, like one from you, one from your wife, and one from mother, father. So, but so rather than doing like having a secret individual secret key, this is the thing they use to make it highly secure.
Yes, yes.
And that time we can use individual secret key, but for a group of users,
But that is a very specific use
a
case.
specific use case. But normally we don't do this like.
No.
Yeah.
It's not the way. Like, because it creates the overhead for storing the keys for each user.
Yeah, secret key लेने के लिए basically you have to like be, because we use like highly like enterprise level services like AWS Secret Manager. So basically, and then even we never see the key, the actual key, except the person who created it for the like first time. उसके बाद whatever we see even as like developer, just like secret key dot key, that's it. Even we don't see the key. I mean,
Yes, yes, yes.
nowadays, the highly secure
Admins or DBAs cannot see the password of users.
cannot see.
That's for
There's
sure.
a like production level way to do it. Even we don't see it. Nice.
And I think we were discussing, Chinmay, like we should not, and we do not handle this authentication services from ourselves.
Yeah,
Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, I just about to talk about that. So basically, it's my belief, and I consider that we should not handle authentication overhead by ourselves. Like it is extremely bad idea to do everything like from is scratch, from generating token to like authenticate the token, and then like regeneration and refreshing the token. So basically, what I suggest, we always should rely on third parties, like highly enterprise level third party services, like AWS authentication flow, or maybe the Google's authentication flow, which is way more better than what we can write by ourselves. So basically, what I do in my projects, whether I'm working on mobile app or the web app, if I have to add authentication, so now I have two options. Ki I want my user to authenticate him or her with email and pen password. So that case again I have two options: cookies based auth flow or the JWT based auth flow. So we are not talking about cookies based in this video. So JWT. So if I'm choosing over JWT over cookies, so that time what I use a Firebase authentication flow. Why? Because I don't have to generate the token. I don't have to write logic to verify the token, and the like token issuer and authorization server. Everything is highly secured and highly like production level thing. So I don't have to worry about the security layers as long as I'm not doing something like very silly, because at the end I just have to manage it, not to create it. Second, if I want my user to do like social login, like login with Apple, Google, or GitHub, that time also we have like similar token based system, because when you log in with Google gives you two tokens, access token and refresh token, which you can use similarly like the flow we just have explained. So I just suggest everyone to at least try Firebase ka email password login by yourself. It is very easy to do, and it is very interesting, and you can like very like in very short amount of time you can have a complete authentication flow, like at least a production level authentication flow. Because if somebody try like suppose कि मुझे ये पता है, I know all the claims or headers like expected by your server. So if I want, I can generate a token, because there are ways to generate a token. Like maybe I have customer ID, I have user ID, and I have all the required claims, so I can generate a token. But if I say send that token to the server, बहुत सारी रीज़न है जिसकी वजह से सर्वर विल डिनाई टू एक्सेप्ट इट, बट द उस बहुत सारों में से द वन रीज़न इज दैट issuer is not the issuer which is expected by the server, which is like Firebase authentication server. So if I'm using Firebase, then her token should be authorized or issued by the Firebase auth server, not by any other server. So I think that's add another layer of security. Yeah.
That's the saying. The saying goes like, no matter how good mechanic you are, you cannot create engines like Rolls Royce. So no
Yeah.
matter how good you are at programming, let these kind of services to be handled by professionals.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
what I
Because
understand.
program like you cannot prove, like you don't prove yourself as a very good or highly knowledgeable engineer just by writing a very good or like hack proof authentication server. No, like there are so many things to do other than this. So it like again like there's a saying like don't reinvent the wheel. So rather than reinventing the wheel,
Just use it.
just try to think to use it in some good way. Maybe like build car with it, not just like create the wheel again. So I rely on like Firebase or Google or Auth highly, and I never ever do it by myself because I don't want to do it simple. But yeah, still you have to have the knowledge
Basic
like
understanding
how,
should
how,
be
it's,
there.
how it's working. So basically, under now basically I just want to talk about the claims, the essential claims, and few things about tokens. So basically one thing token के बारे में जो मैं बोलूँगा JWT में, it always has to be a minimal and secure token claims. Token में like ये जितना light रहेगा उतना it's easy to transport
Transport.
and उतना ही सिक्योर रहेगा, क्योंकि the less information you expose to the in public, the more secure you are basically. So but there are some essentials और इंडस्ट्री लेवल पे भी ये essentials सेम ही रहते हैं, एंड नॉर्मली भी इट शुड द सेम. बट यूट्यूब पे इफ़ यू गो एंड चेक सम ट्यूटोरियल्स जहाँ पे दे आर यूजिंग JWT, दे डोंट कवर दिस थिंग इन दैट मच डिटेल एंड दे डोंट generate a proper industry level tokens. So, and when I'm saying industry level tokens, it means I'm saying at minimum you'll need a subject. Subject can be the user ID or the customer ID. Then we have ISS, which is issuer. Issuer basically your auth service ID. जैसे कि मेरे केस में Google इशू करता है तो Google. And then we have audience, AUD एक करके वो होता है claim audience, and audience, basically we have API service ID. Then we have EXP expiration time, which is
Hmm.
basically, or crucial. This is very crucial, and I always try to keep it short, just to be safe at least, especially for the application where you are doing financial transactions.
Financial transaction. Yeah.
On every net banking website in whole world, if you're like even for 2 minutes, if you're
Hmm.
idle on the page,
You will
you
be
have to
logged out.
relog in.
You will be logged out.
If you keep working, it's fine, but you have to relog in.
Hmm.
So that's fine. So and then we have IoT. IoT is like issued at. Sorry, IAT issued at. ये the timestamp, just to
Hmm.
check that, just to perform that logic where we check the token has expired or not. Last, we have JWT ID, GTI. It is again extremely important claim, which is just a unique identifier for every single JWT token. So it's like token series number.
Okay.
So if there are like 100 million tokens, so we have to have 100 million JWT ID. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 claims are necessary, and then we
Hmm.
can provide more claims, but usually it is not recommended to provide
Not required
scopes
also.
scopes in the token, because maybe I cannot do anything with your token, but for like future perspective, I can still understand what type of scopes my server is dividing among the users. Maybe.
That can be done by user ID itself. Let's say my user ID is 1234, and I can go to database anytime and see what permissions 1234 user has. So I do
Yeah.
not need to send those permissions on the transport layer. That is on our database.
Yeah, and basically when you use Firebase server, you can do everything you want to do. You can create a custom claims token where you can add
Hmm.
your own claims. So
Yes,
we
yes.
do it, but these are the minimal and the essential one. इनके अलावा you add custom claims which are okay to add. Then okay, I just have a question, Anurag के लिए.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes do you think we save JW token in database on the server?
No, no, I don't think so. It's not required because we have the key. We can decrypt anytime.
In which cases we can save in DB,
Which cases we can save in DB? The
or
tokens.
we should, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm just also thinking क्योंकि मैंने अभी randomly पूछा है, मेरे को भी आया because I saw it somewhere. We save the tokens in DB. We save the token in DB when एक token को सिर्फ एक ही बार use कर, like when there is a token which you can use only once, that type of tokens we need to save in DB.
Okay. The use case I'm not gathering the use
Use
case
case
as of
is
now.
use case just to get the consent, because
Okay. Mm-hmm. Acha, acha, understood. So for the first time, let's say you log in and you consent for the first time in the day or maybe first time in the lifetime, you generate the token. Okay.
so
Mm.
sometimes the token which you need to access the consent, which is not a permission to access the source, but a consent
Mm.
to
Mm.
access the certain resources, then again you have to log in after getting consent in the DB. So क्या क्या है DB, like consent DB है, तो in the consent DB you just add your consents, so that token we cannot use twice, so we use it and
Mm.
we just they cannot reuse it. So if you try to
Yes.
reuse
Yes.
it, you
Mm.
like server will deny it. So that is
Denied.
because consents are everything when you work with fintech services or the healthcare tech, or basically wherever you are trying to access personal information, whether
For one time.
it is coming from health tech or the fintech, that type of concerns are really important
For the one time.
for the one time. So that time we save, and
Mm.
I don't know, there might be another use cases where we can save, but usually we don't.
We don't understand.
And even if we want to do it, we do it in the in memory database, which is Redis.
Mm.
Is like fast to access. So but you can, I don't know we should do it or not, but you can apply like dual layer of security where you can use session based auth and cookie based auth in the same project.
Mm.
So that time also you can share. So that's fine. So after that, yeah, I just want to talk refresh token. Yeah, Anurag, what do you think about refresh token?
I think we have discussed like few words on the refresh token. Once your token, original token is expired, I think refresh token is used for generating new one.
Yeah, that's all correct.
I think that's all.
Like
That's all.
refresh token भी अगर expire, like what if your refresh token has expired, then
They're locked out.
locked out? Okay. And do you think that refresh token is optional, or do you think
Ah,
like in the fintech or like net banking, like I do like in like the HDFC Bank में Indian net banking, so उसके लिए do we use refresh token
I'm
or
not sure they are using it or not, but for the fintech, for the sensitive, like price
मेरे हिसाब से
sensitive,
we
money
don't use.
sensitive applications, not required.
मेरे हिसाब से not required. I mean, they intentionally don't use the refresh token. Every time you have to re-log in.
Might be. This might be the issue.
मतलब ये रियल वर्ल्ड केस है जहाँ पे मुझे हर बार लॉग इन करना पड़ेगा जाके पोर्टल पे. आई कैन नॉट कि एक बार लॉग इन किया और फिर टोकन सेव हो गया एंड देन मैं क्लोज करके आया तो भी आई कैन एक्सेस इट. नो, आई हैव टू री लॉग इन एवरी सिंगल टाइम.
Mm.
So okay, so we covered access token, refresh token, claims, generating, checking, and how to secure your API sources with the token. I think we can talk more about it, but not now because of time limitation. But there are few things which like which we cannot, or like which we are not discussing, like middleware, authentication middleware, because that's the place where you deal with your JWT token. Like every request has to go through this middleware, and then middleware decides whether to pass it or fail it.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's the
mm.
place where you do the token checking or refreshing or whatever it is. And in big projects, we have a separate authentication service and a separate token generation the verifying service. So that can also be discussed in some other video, I think. Okay. Do you have anything left to talk about sections?
No, Chinmay,
Interview
that's I
questions
think.
के perspective से.
From the questions perspective, I think we have covered. No, I think we are good. Good to go.
ठीक है. लाइक टोकन चोरी हुआ तो क्या हो सकता है,
Uh,
एक्सेस टोकन क्यों चाहिए, रिफ्रेश टोकन क्यों चाहिए,
mm.
और
How to protect it
how
from
to
stealing?
protect
We have
from
discussed it.
stealing HTTPS, and always try to rely on the third party services for the
Mm.
authentication at least. एक last question as a interview का perspective I just want to discuss before wrapping it up, that ये मेरे दिमाग में आया था कि we send credit card like on a web page or the app, you enter the credit or the debit card information,
Mm.
and because there is a backend, so that information has to go to the backend over the
Mm.
network.
Mm.
So like initially I thought कि is it is completely unsafe to transport that information, the packet of that information. So what do you think, वो कैसे safe होता है, why you are not able to steal that information even if you are able to intercept the network?
Mm-hmm. The same technology which we are relying on, TLS,
Yeah, yeah, the same answer is same, it's same, TLS.
HTTPS,
Yeah.
because it is the whole. See, the concept behind HTTPS or TLS network is that the moment the connection is established, your laptop is connected to a server. Let's with the term I would like to use the tunnel, the private tunnel. It's kind of encrypted. Your whole transport from the moment the packet leaves your laptop is encrypted, and it till reaches to the server, it is encrypted. So in between, if someone can steal your package also, it's not useful for them.
I have another question. तो तेरा मतलब क्या कहने का कि द information packet encrypted होता है या वो tunnel encrypted होती है या the data you are sending, that data itself get encrypted?
uh, the packet is encrypted.
I think because I think data encrypt भी होता है.
Packet is encrypted. uh,
Data
but the
packets में.
for the whole, that's why I was saying that a similar term, the tunnel, the what happens in VPN, the whole network is encrypted. So whatever goes inside going to the network is invisible to outsiders. In HTTPS case, our packets are encrypted. As long as I know, we can discuss it little more. But as far as my knowledge, the packet is encrypted.
Let me check क्योंकि मेरे को थोड़ा सा कुछ और दिमाग में आ रहा
Hmm.
है. Okay, when sending credit card information over a network using TLS, transport layer security, the data is encrypted using a symmetric encryption key that is securely exchanged between the sender and the receiver during a handshake phase. This was Google is saying basically. So data
Hmm.
itself get encrypted. That's the thing that we जो कि that license जो होता है, sorry, SSL certificate जो होता है,
Hmm.
which we stores on the server.
SSL certificate we have to store on the server.
है ना. तो so when you establish a connection from your
उसी टाइम.
authorized domain and your authorized server, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है कि from any site we can make request to that particular server. Like मतलब मैं खुद का अपना like पेज बना के मैंने एक ऐप बना ली खुद से फ्रंट एंड, और मुझे कहीं से पता चल गया लाइक कि वो बैकएंड का आईपी एड्रेस, क्योंकि आईपी एड्रेस ही होता है बेसिकली लाइक व्हेन यू डू लाइक एन EC2 तो आपको आईपी 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 मिलता है, देन यू पुट रिक्वेस्ट टू दैट, यू कैन कन्वर्ट इट टू ए डोमेन नेम. स्टिल बात वही है. सो अगर मुझे वो डोमेन नेम आपका बैकएंड का पता चल गया कि लाइक chinmay.com/API, और मैंने खुद का एक फ्रंट एंड बना लिया, आई कैन नॉट एक्सेस backend with this front end, correct?
No, you cannot access.
Cannot access. अगर मैंने HTTPS भी कर लिया तब भी I cannot access.
No,
क्योंकि
not.
my backend is strictly
Strictly, what
told
I say, orthodoxly listening to a particular front end only,
particular front
and
end.
that particular front end itself protected by something else.
It's protected.
आप ऐसे थोड़ी you can अरे यार if you know a URL you cannot send the hit request from your browser. It's not going to work like that.
अरे when you do your कभी भी next interview ना ये question पूछना पर्सन से नहीं पता होता. होना तो
Got
चाहिए.
it.
ये बोलेंगे होना तो चाहिए.
No, seriously. Our beacon, like on the projects we are working on, our project is not exposed to outside world. Our whole backend is not exposed to outside world. It is only exposed to one application which is running on React.js. That's it.
Understood. So that was a short, क्योंकि security discussion बहुत ज़्यादा लंबे हो सकते हैं क्योंकि they are very in depth kind of discussion. So ठीक है, in this session particularly I just want we just want to discuss this much only, and maybe next time we'll come again with cookies based authentication, and after that we can like make a proper comparison like why you should use JWT or cookies based. So that is just like another discussion. So I think from my side I don't have anything to say about it. What do you think?
No, I
All
think
good?
we can wrap. We can wrap up.
Okay, so we are just wrapping it up here, and next time we'll try to get something better.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much everyone, and have a good
Have a
day.
nice day.